I don't know. I really believe this is the future of work. Come on, it's I don't know. I'm talking to you and I'm explaining it, and I'm getting like hyped myself. You should really try it. Amazing. It's so smooth, so straightforward. Like, I don't know. So I really think that we are doing something good. I really think that we are, connecting people, connecting talent, enable companies to scale out fast across places. And each time we have like all hands, and I see like small rectangles of people all over the world. This is like one team, and it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Where are you calling in from today?
So I'm nearby Tel Aviv in Israel.
Oh, very cool. Emerging well, I wouldn't say it's emerging anymore. It's like a massive technology scene now, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all over the place. You see startups and corporates, and everybody's doing something or developing something. Startup nation, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then is this where Deel was founded at?
I don't think so. I think they started like in the States, actually, like almost like 3 years ago, even before COVID.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but for sure, COVID showed the world that you can hire amazing talent everywhere and have amazing teams, and exactly like prove the things that we're doing here.
Yeah, well, then now that you can hire talent everywhere, you need companies like Deel. Right?
Yeah, but Deel by itself, we are like practicing what we preach. Everybody in Deel is working remotely from home, like me. Everybody in Deel is, by the way, getting paid through Deel, which is like using your own product. It's kind of awesome, you must admit.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have like, at least in engineering, I have like people from at least 15 different states all over the world, and it's amazing.
Yeah, one of the first things I was interested in at first when the production team like pitched all of this and I saw the episode, I was like, oh, okay, this is a payroll system. I know Eddie over at Gusto, right? And they're a payroll company. And so I was pretty familiar with some of the modern payroll companies. But then I was, diving deep into your company, and you're not just a payroll provider. You're like specifically a payroll provider for like people who want to hire in other countries, which is incredibly a difficult thing to do. I'm an entrepreneur. This is my fourth business. And it's always so, luckily my businesses have been small enough to where like I'm kind of, doing it on the edge of compliance, right? But if you want to actually scale something legitimately, it's a huge pain in the butt to hire people overseas. And you guys have solved that. Is that correct?
This is exactly correct. And you should come to Deel.
Yeah.
Putting it in short, okay, I've experienced myself, Deel for me is like my fourth startup already. And at the beginning, I had to recruit like only people in Israel and then only people in San Francisco. And it's like an amazing challenge, but there's so much talent all over the place, all over the planet. And each time I'm meeting new people, it's amazing to see all the amazing people and talent there is out there. Why not use it? You can form amazing companies all over the world. And I really believe that Deel is the future of work. We are the enabler for that. So we'll take all the burden of, okay, how do I contract someone who is not in my country? How do I onboard him? How do I pay him? How do I invoice? All that stuff. I think that we can offer an amazing user experience around that and really offer you to like focus on your stuff, focus on your business, and not on all the plumbing around.
And so you support international contractors and international full-time employees. Can you help me understand like what the difference is there?
So there's exactly like two main lines of business. One of them is more like classic, like client contractor. For example, let's say that I have a small company in Israel and I want to hire the amazing Adam in the States. Okay. So I have like two main challenges there. One of them is how do I pay you like you want in terms of which currency, which payment method, right? So it could be, of course, bank transfer, but also cool stuff like Stripe, PayPal, Payoneer, Revolut, even Coinbase, like crypto okay? The second is how to do it compliantly, because contract from someone from the States is very different from someone in Spain or Russia or Israel and so on. So in Deel, we have automated all this. We have a large legal department, and we have fully automated like the contract creation. I can really, within a couple of minutes, create a fully binding contract for us too. I input the rates, I input the start dates, I sign it online. I then invite you to co-sign. You click the link there, you hop on Deel, this time as contractor or freelancer, we call it, okay? You look at the contract, and if everything is cool over there, you go ahead and sign it. On payday, the only thing that I have to do as a client is click one button like pay. Then Deel automatically take funds from my payment method, which I've defined when I set up my account, according to our contract. We put it on your account on Deel. We notify you, hey, Adam, you've been paid. You hop on Deel, this time as the contractor, and you click one button, withdraw, and funds are moved to wherever you rank them. Now, this is quite simple and it's one-to-one, right? But what if I have 20 contractors or 50 or 500 contractors in different countries, currencies, payment method, and you pay them all with one pay now button? This is like an amazing time server and make the experience like seamless. So this is one like very classic or common like line of business, client and contractor. If I want to hire an FTE, full-time employee, sometimes I may face another challenge. Like in that country, I must have a local subsidiary in order to hire the guy, okay? Now this, for many companies, this is already like a showstopper. How do I set up a subsidiary? Everything is too complicated. I don't know how to do it. I don't have time for this. So Deel is doing it for you. We are actually creating Deel subsidiaries in any country that we are interested in expanding on. And we simply say, hey, if you want to hire a full-time employee, hire it through Deel. Deel is the employee on record, or in short, EOR, okay? And then all the experience in seamlessly between the client and the full-time employee. We, of course, take some commission on that. This is how we make our money. But for the hiring company, it's completely seamless, and they can simply expand to whichever country they support. And it's over like 60 countries today. So again, everything you need to make like remote hiring as easy as hiring your neighbor next door.
That's pretty cool. That's exciting for me. And
it is.
I'm actually a little angry at you because where were you 10 years ago, man?
I don't know. I really believe this is the future of work. Come on. It's I don't know. I'm talking to you and I'm explaining it, and I'm getting like hyped myself. You should really try it. Amazing. It's so smooth, so straightforward. I don't know. So I really think that we are doing something good. I really think that we are, connecting people, connecting talent, enable companies to scale out fast across places. And each time we have like all hands, and I see like small rectangles of people all over the world. This is like one team, and it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Are you growing fast?
Even as we speak, I recruited 2 more. Yeah, I'm joking, but am I joking? I'm not so sure. So we're growing amazingly fast. I don't know. It's like 20% a month, every month for like the past 2 years. And Deel itself, I think when I started, it's not even 2 years. Deel was like 15 people. Now it's like over 600, and we'll get to 1,000 soon. Engineering team, it was like 3 people. Now it's over 80. So yes, I think that one of the main challenges is, of course, like serving the need, doing the scale, both on technology side, people side, culture side. But this is where all the fun kicks in, at least for me.
Now, can you give me a little bit of your background? Are you the founder? You said were you a part of other startups, or did you found them? Tell me about your history.
So it's quite interesting. I've been in the high tech industry. I've been like about 30 years already. I have quite a few years of experience in big American corporates like Amdocs or Applied Materials. But actually, I'm much more of a startup guy, and Deel is like my fourth startup already. And I've been doing startups in all kinds of different technologies. I was never like a founder. I was always like joining like the first engineer or number 3 or 4, which is interesting. But I had the good fortune to see like at least 2 startups from the day one when you buy pencils until they were like either acquired or merged. So just a quick talk. The first one was called Sig Value. It did like a real-time billing for cellular carriers. I've been joining there like, I think that was employee number 3 or 2. And I was there until 7 years later. It was acquired by Amdocs. This is how I got into Amdocs, huge American corporate. And I told them, look, guys, I have to be here like 1 year because this is like so I can get my stock options and so on. But you won't see me here after 1 year and 1 day. Turns out I've been there like 8 years. I can explain that first of all, they did it smart. So we still were kind of startup within a big corporate, and they gave us resources. We grew, business grew. You are growing also as as an engineer. So you start managing teams, then director. I think it was an amazing ride, at least for me. And eventually, like I said, okay, I need to leave it. I must go back to the startup mentality. I really like doing stuff now and see it live. Okay, so much more of a startup guy. After that, I went into a startup called Jeffro.io. We did BI optimizations over Hadoop. Hadoop was the next big thing at that time, which proved to be untrue as the cloud went in. I then went to Zira.us, which we did energy optimizations for manufacturing, mostly in San Francisco, by the way. So I've been there in all those companies. I was building teams from scratch and usually products from scratch, which I love to do. And I've been there around 2 years, and then some recruiter told me, "Hey, you need to speak with Alex from Deel." And I told him, "No, I'm not interested. I'm perfectly fine where I am." And a week later said, "Hey, you need to really speak with that Alex from Deel." And I told him, "I'm not going to speak with him. I built a product from scratch. I had the team from scratch." And a week later, I was in Deel. It's a true story. I think that it was a combination of things. First of all, after 2 years, I already saw that the product already forming up. It was already stable, but also quite stagnating. I didn't see business booming as we thought. But to be honest, the moment I had a talk with Alex, and it took me 30 seconds to understand the ideas, and it was like a lightning struck, and I gave him a few hard time to convince me, but he had me within 5 minutes already.
I love it. It's so exciting. I'm just for me, when I think about your company, I mean, I think it'll be a cool day when you have your first employees from Mars, people that are on, then you'll be an interplanetary payroll system. That would be pretty cool.
Let me start by taking amazing talent from all over the world. People, even engineering, I kid you not. Okay, now those 80 people are you ready? So they are, let me give you the list. It's now. So there are people from Israel, Ukraine, Brazil, Mexico, Russia, UK, Colombia, Germany, Turkey, Argentina, Belarus, Bosnia, Hungary, India, Nigeria, Paraguay, Peru, Poland, Spain. One team. Works beautiful.
It's slightly stressful to hear all of those because
why?
Because for me, as a business owner, I just am imagining all the compliance because I'm getting used to not to love on your product too much, but I'm having to learn how to think about the fact that you can just do it without a bunch of difficulty. because otherwise you would have to open up, subsidiaries in a lot of those countries. You would have to have a legal team and an HR team that would understand the specific laws and taxes, and it's a difficult thing to do. And so, I think Jeff Bezos says that he invested in products that like change people's lives. And I'd say this is one of those interesting products that will actually change the life of an entrepreneur. So, I don't see these all the time. I see a lot of small, like tiny improvements, but I think this is a massive improvement, opening up the entire global workforce. So good job. And I also want to talk a little bit about your past too. So, I see a lot of entrepreneurs. I see a lot of long-term engineering executives, but your path is one of my favorite paths. As
really?
It's kind of rare, but looking back on it, I had the opportunity to take a path like that. But what I see is that, you joining by an early employee, like being like, 2 or 3, you have slightly less, or you have less risk than being an entrepreneur and founding the company, but you have enormous upside. So I was reading this study of how people become wealthy, and you could take all the wealthy people and you can divide them into 3 groups: the people who save, like have normal jobs and they save and invest long-term, entrepreneurs, and then executives at companies that, get in early or grow with the organization. And so I think that's an under-discussed, it's not talked about as much, and it's a super intelligent strategy to just be early, because you're having to understand the landscape and make investments, deciding where you're going to work. And that's a skill of itself. Like, you deciding where you're going to spend your time affects, your career. So you've had good vision as far as, that goes, with pairing with companies that are going places. So I think that's pretty cool.
Thanks a lot. So I can tell about this. I think it's more of a personal thing. So I've always been like a more people person. I've always as an engineer, been more like front-end oriented, more working with people and experience, and less on the backend side and architecture. But also this means that I have like less patience as I want. I want to code something and I want to see it like now. Okay, so I have no patience to do like, let's have a big version, release it once a quarter, let's see how it goes. This will kill me, okay? I want to like code something now and test it. If it's cool, let's ship it. And tomorrow again and again and again. I'm a real believer, of sending small chunks of value to customer, very small ones, but all the time. So like very, very rapid like evolution, but no revolution, okay? So release every day, release 3 times a day. So this was a bug fix. And then we had a button and a level over here, but do it like all the time. So I think that this is both like giving amazing experience to our customers, because they see all the tough stuff coming. The response time for them is amazingly quick. We invest a lot of that in dealing customer support. And also, even if you have an issue, so how much have changed from yesterday or a few hours ago? It's very easy to fix course and move ahead. We almost never had to roll back anything. So this is something that really helped me a lot on that course. So usually when I hear something, or some entrepreneur comes with an idea, I already start building it in my mind. And I can say, hey, let's take some database and some serverless and front it in React on that, and we could build something very fast. So why not?
Yes, I consider you to have a lot of experience in scaling based off of your history. And so I'm curious, if you were to mentor a startup that, let's say, they had 50 people and they were growing relatively quickly, what sort of advice would you give them?
Wow, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
I know. I can tell you that I think that I have personally recruited at least 250 people myself during the years. I can tell you if someone is a good fit for a position in like 5 minutes, to be honest. I'm quite good with that. I think that when you hire people, there is like, at least my 3 golden rules is like, you need to hire like smart people who care and can deliver. Let me expand on that, okay? If the people that you hire are not smart, they won't be able to produce the value that you want, okay? If you have a smart guy, super smart engineer, but he doesn't care about customer satisfaction, doesn't care about quality, doesn't care to see stuff out, it won't work. And eventually, I had guys that have that, but didn't strive to see the thing that's being shipped. Many times, the devil is in the details, so you need to have both the backend, and the database, and the deployment, and the frontend all tied together and deliver. So it takes a certain kind of engineer and the guy that can really push and take all of people's together and balance. So that's about the principles. If you need to scale from 5 to 100 or to 500, it's a different story. Eventually, I think that every one of us is working with between 5 to 6 person a day, every day. So this is like normal. So if you have 25 people, so you're working with 5, each of them should work with their 5 and so on. So you need to grow the teams and then scale them to split the teams or take them to another level and so on. Always the secret sauce is balance, okay? Not to get like too many backends or frontends. Have enough managers, but not too many managers, because the team eventually needs to work and deploy. It is also, as you go and hire more and more people, the next hire becomes much more difficult, because you're not only thinking about his technical skills or soft skills or human skills. You already know in which team he's going to join, right? So you need to think about, will he have good chemistry with the people in the team? Eventually, we are all people. So it's even more so when the people itself are from different countries with different mentalities. So that's amazing stuff. Even different time zones. So this is all kinds of new challenges that you have when the team is fully remote, fully scanned across the world. So this is one of the something that I like to do the most is not just finding a good candidate to join the team, but which team? What will be a good place to put the newcomer? Will he evolve as engineer, as manager, as team lead? What career path I see for him a year from now, 2 years from now? It's one thing to hire. It's much more difficult to keep your team happy and growing and evolving.
All right, I want to dig into that a little bit. So you're experienced, this is 4th company, you've done this a lot, you've hired, recruited over 250 people. And right now we're working on a book, a technology management leadership book. And one of the questions, I'm working with a ghostwriter. He's really great, but we meet every week and we talk about different topics. And last week we were talking about hiring and recruiting people. And of course, if you're talking about hiring, you're talking about firing as well, right? And in order to get that experience, you have to, like a child, you're learning how to walk, you fall down, you make mistakes, you hire the wrong person, you have to let them go. And at first, I've never met anybody who said, oh yeah, the first 10 people I fired was super easy, I loved it, I could do it again, right? It's a difficult thing to do. And so I was curious, if you had to go back to your past self and those first 5 or 10 people you had to let go, what sort of advice would you give yourself?
To do it earlier. Especially in those days, I was the one recruiting them. So I eventually signed off on each and every one. By the way, till this day, no matter where I'm recruiting, I'm always seeing him last. I always want to see, at least at the scale we are, not sure what will happen next year, always want to meet and have good talk with the candidate before he joins. But looking at the younger me, so you see quite fast that it is not working as expected. The guy is not performing well. He's in the team, everybody there is doing great, but you try to do some betterment and it's not working. I think it's quite natural, or at least it was for me, to try again and again. So we did betterment and we defined KPIs and so on. But eventually I noticed like most of the work was on me. I was like metering if that person is getting better or not. And I had a lot of talks on that. And eventually I had to cut it off much earlier, okay? Because especially in a high growth company, if someone is not helping you, he's dragging you down. It's as simple as that, okay? It's not a big corporates when you can go chill and something else. When you're like in a high growth company, you're running, and sometimes you're running fast, okay? It's like the joke. But in teams and especially in high growth companies, the teams are relatively small. So the team will feel very fast if someone is not performing well. And not only that, it will also impact the team. Okay, guys saying, okay, why I'm putting 10, 11, 12 every day when X is not doing and is chill and he has tons of bugs and so on. So my advice to the younger me, okay, don't be afraid to admit that you were wrong, that hiring was bad. Try to do some betterment, because sometimes it does work. And the guy understand, again, what are the expectations and so on. But if it's not working, it's better to part ways, and as painful as it is, and recruit another member to the team.
And after after about like the first 20 or 25 times of having to go through this process, right? And realizing I like what you're saying, because I'm agreeing with it. I'm like, yep, I've experienced this. But I'm curious to know if you've had this situation. So have you ever, you've taken the perspective that it's just not the fit for them. You almost feel bad because you failed to identify it, right? You're like, I let you down because I didn't, correctly match you with this, and now I have to let you go. And of course you get better and better at that. But have you ever let someone go for some reason, like maybe they're, too chill, too many bugs, bad performance, and they'll come back and thank you later because it was like a wake up call? Have you ever had that happen?
I had in the previous company, I was like bringing a team lead to form a team. We had worked before. He's an amazing guy, amazing attitude. All that was there. And we started growing. So we recruited people to the team, and still the team started delivering, but it was never there. The quality wasn't there. Pace was really slow. Okay, and it was all because of the team lead. Okay, he wasn't like putting right priorities. He wasn't pushing the team where it was needed, and where he pushed, they were like already too stressed out and so on. And I had so good relationship with him, so. I really didn't want to see it, but eventually I had like also wake up call from management as well, and I had to go ahead and let him go. It was quite a difficult talk, by the way, because it was key position in the company, and but I think that I've learned a lot from it. Also, who am I hiring? What am I looking? But still, having said that, it may very well be that where you have like a company of 5 people, the ones that you hire from the beginning will not be good candidates when you're growing from small startup to medium size to medium company. Okay, that engineer, that team lead has to grow as well as a manager, as an engineer, as a person. Not everyone can do that, although you try hard and think hard. So this is something that, as a manager, as I have to like every day inspect that this is happening. I give praises when it's done correctly, and when I see things that are not okay, I need to like roll my sleeve and dive in.
Yes,
and it's never easy. It's never easy.
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's like once you get great people and you have them on board, right? And let's say they do have the mindset that they want to grow, because one of the mistakes that I made many times before I figured it out was I assumed people were like me. It's something we do as humans. Like our default state is we assume people are like us. And I want to grow. I want to get to the top. I want to, do great things and push the limits and all of that. And some people don't. And so I found that I was pushing people who just wanted to do work, just like routine work and just have their life and I was trying to push them into, be like, excite them with being like, oh, when the company grows, you're going to have a team and all of this. And I found out it was like really stressing them out. So then I learned how to, understand who the person is and what drives them in life, and then make sure I build something around them that's, also beneficial to the company. And that's how you can tell alignment, right? Like, here's what I need. Here's what you want. If they align, it's magic. If they don't, it just doesn't work. But once you have great people, and those great people are growing and the company is growing, everybody loves, I found great people love to work with great people. So that's one way that you keep people around, but great people also love money. So I'm curious, how do you do incentive structures to keep these high performance people around?
So it's a combination of two things. First of all, I strongly believe in stock options because, first of all, they bind the employee to the success of the company. Right, so it's a long-term beneficial, and second, of course, if the company is doing great, the value of that stock options can be really life-changing for many of the employees. So they are like essentially getting a part of the companies, even if it's like with an options. And I find it to be like a great incentive. Second of all, there is no way around it. Okay, you need to keep all the time the look of what is happening on the market, what people are making. And have a look what your people in the team are doing, and if you need to do like at least every 6 months and once a year, you must have like one-on-one meeting with the guys and reviews if needed, like doing a raise. I also like try a lot to give good words and good feedback on stuff you're doing. Usually when we work a lot, it's very easy to say, okay, it's very easy to point up what we didn't go well. You didn't catch that bug. That was not good quality and so on. But we sometimes neglect to do the other way around and give good words or some bonuses for like really complex project being made. So if we have that, I'm also doing stuff like that. So like one-time bonuses and so on. I found that we need to have like at least 2 times a year, have like one-on-one reviews with anyone in the team. At least once a year, this also will include like a salary review. And if you're good, salary will usually go up. But this way, usually the team knows that it's coming. They know when to expect it and so on. And because again, it's the culture thing. I had like for example, a location where one of the programmers say, out of the blue, okay, I don't want to say from which country, but out of the blue, okay, I got another offer, I'm leaving. It's not even that he like came and say, look, I think that I should be like getting more. Is there anything that we can do? And he was amazing. And I told him, hey, Joe, why didn't like you come to me earlier and so on? So he said, okay, I didn't know that I was able to do so. I think that this is how things are being done, okay? And it's very different from different companies. So we made peace. I explained it. Joe was amazing and he stayed with us till this day, no problem, brother. But it learned me a lot, okay? So usually I'm the one that like doing that more proactively, even before the time and so on. But also you need to feel the pulse, what is going on in the industry. And it's also different from different countries. I think the challenge in Deel is greater in that aspect because guys with same experience in Ukraine, it's very different from the guy in UK or the States or in Spain. Okay, so and they work together on same team sometimes. So even though there is differences in cost of living in different countries, you still want to have, the team salaries more or less in same regions. I find it extremely important. And I'm striving out. So I will always try to, if someone is from a country with the cost of living there is lower, I will try to raise him. So the team will be more or less balanced, more or less on the same level, and so on.
Yes, I liked when you were talking about the variances or the differences in work culture across countries.
It's so different. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I've worked on teams that will, like I've been a part of projects where, companies merging, multiple different companies are merging together, and like an acquisition style company, and they're pulling people from Israel, Spain, India, and now all of these people have to work together. And it's not that they don't like each other, it's just they all have very different routines of how they work, and now you have to get these people to work together. And it's just so fascinating to me because, like, I don't think anything's good or bad necessarily. It's just different, and understanding how to work with the differences and figuring out how to create situations where people can come together and bond. That's a hard thing to do, but it's fun when you get it.
I can tell that at least for me, when I'm like first talking with a candidate, I'm looking for energy. I'm looking for optimism. I'm looking for a sense of humor. I won't hire someone without a sense of humor. Actually, I didn't do it in Deel, but in previous companies, like my first sentence to a candidate is, "Hi, please tell me a joke." First sentence. And like you see, some of them like really burst in laugh or stuff like that. Some of them were like stuck. What's that crazy guy wants from me, and so on. So that's about that. But again, if you have the energy, and you have the optimism, sense of humor, and like you're hyped. You must be hyped on the company. You can't come to a place like Deel if you're not like, wow, that idea is amazing. Let's change it, okay? It makes things so much easier because eventually you all want the same goal for the company. You all want the same goals as engineer. In Deel, you can be like super impactful, okay? We hadn't talked technology, but it is really a place when you can write something in the morning and QA verify it at noon, and by the evening it's live for thousands of people. For most engineers, this is like, something amazing. And I always wanted to work in companies like that, and I will always try to keep it coming. And technology today allows it to do it quite easily. So,
I want to tell you my favorite joke.
Go ahead. Let's see if you're fit.
All right. Why was the baby strawberry?
You can't laugh from your own joke.
I do. I'm that person. All right. Here we go. Why was the baby strawberry sad?
Okay. Why?
Its mom was in a jam. There we go.
That's a dad joke. That's a dad joke.
Oh, I'm a dad. Yeah, that's a dad joke. I have to have jokes that are okay with the kids.
Okay, you can go, hey, Dad. Hi, Dad. I'm hungry. And you can go, hi, hungry. I'm dead.
I like that
one. That's
an
equally bad dad joke.
I love it. Are you a dad, by the way?
Yeah, I'm a dad. I have like 3 kids. Not so much of a kids. So I have 2 boys, 24, 21. And I have a girl, she's 17. My smallest kid is already driving.
Not me. I have a daughter who's 4, a son who's turning 3 this week, and then another one on the way. We don't know. We're gonna wait. On the first 2, we found out what the gender was and everything before they were born, but the third one, we're like, let's just wait. We'll be surprised.
I envy you. I would love to have another toddler running around the house.
If you were in my house last night, you'd be like, okay, just kidding.
No, I'm sure I had it all before, but it's cool. I'm always joking. I'm still telling my daughter, go ahead and sort out your rooms. What's that mess? And that one is already like driving in the street with a car. Oh boy.
Oh man. Yeah, so I want to know how has being a father, like, have you been able to take lessons from raising your kids, and have those helped you at work?
I think that's a difficult question. I think that at the beginning I was much younger. I think that I had my first one was like 27, and yes, I was already in a startup. At the beginning, it was quite hard because my firstborn, like, he refused to sleep at nights. like at least like he haven't slept like a full night until he was like 1 year old or something like this. So I remember like I was holding him and coding, and I was like falling asleep on the keyboard. So that was quite traumatic. The second one slept beautiful. I learned a lot. The first one told us a lot, as a parent and so on. But I always felt quite comfortable. I didn't see that, okay, if I bring kids, I can't work or it will disrupt. I always felt it like quite natural. I love kids, and I would do them as young as I can. If I had the power, I had a fourth one, as I told you already.
Yeah. For me, it was seeing, because mine are still very young, but even as early as, age 1.5, you can start seeing like the kids are everything's exaggerated, right? So the emotions are exaggerated. Everything's bigger, and it's like a computer, right? If I could walk into the computers of the 1980s and everything was huge, I would see all the different parts of the computer. Now they're in these thin MacBooks and you can't really see them too easily, but when they're bigger, they're easier to understand. And so watching these kids grow up and have these big emotions and these desires for these specific things, for me, I just picked up a lot, I guess, intangibly about how people work by watching them grow up.
I think that for me it was very interesting because I have 3 kids. They are so different from one another. They look different. Okay, if I put a picture of them, you won't be able to tell that they are brothers. Okay, and their character is so different, and every one of them is like a whole complete person. And it's amazing. It's amazing for me to see how they are growing and how they are different, and how each of them has its own area and expertise, and so that thing was amazing for me.
I love it. All right, I could talk about family all day, but I want to make sure that we don't forget Deel. We talked a lot, several different topics, but I'm sure people are excited. They like your energy. They've been hearing about Deel. Can you tell us how you can find out more about a career at Deel?
Oh, there's a zillion opportunities about that. So, first of all, we have on the Deel career website, we have zillion careers at Deels. Really, a lot of career openings, companies growing all over. And I think that this year it's going to be really, really big. You can hop on letsdeal.com/careers. Just go through the website and you can see really a lot of careers over there. And I think that 2022 is going to be an amazing year within Deel. This is the year. Deel is, it's quite simple. We are going to be de facto the company, the default company to go to when you want to hire remotely. And Deel is big and going to be very big. So this is amazing time to join. We have many positions open all over the place, from engineering to marketing to customer success and so on. Just browse through the website.
And that's DEEL, right? Letsdeal.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. Was there anything else that we wanted to make sure that we got out there today that we haven't already covered yet?
I think so. So I would touch a bit on technology side. If you want to know, let's say that you want to have an hyper-growth company, okay? My advice, instead, we talked a lot about hiring. Let's talk about technology. My 2 cents for all the entrepreneurs out there on the hyper-growth one is you should embrace any technology that allows you to focus on what you want to achieve in your business, and not to deal with the plumbing and stuff going on under. That means, of course, go over to a cloud. Any managed service that you can take on, take it as a managed service. Do not try to operate it yourself, because you need to place time and people around it. So you want to run a Kubernetes cluster, so take it from AWS or Azure. Don't want to run it yourself. You're running Zira, go to manage Zira on the cloud. Don't install your own Zira and stuff like that. So We did a lot of that on Deel. So whatever we took, any managed service that we can took on, we use that. This allowed us to really focus on the things that Deel wanted to achieve, on the product itself, on growth, on scalability. And we were able to achieve it like a relatively small amount of people. So that's great about that. Second, I think that if you, in order to be growing fast, you need to deliver fast. Like have continuous integration and continuous deployment implemented in your company. I'm a huge DevOps fan. I've been doing DevOps even before it was called DevOps. Because as I said, I always want to write something, I want to see it live. So DevOps is the key, right? Automation and everything. Technologies like CI, CD, Kubernetes, everything that allows you to deploy right here, right now, anytime are critical for success of hypergrowth companies. Anything else eventually will stall you up. So this is like in terms of technology. Third thing is what you select as the technology to write your stuff with. Should I use like Ruby, Java, JavaScript, React, Angular? So it's not only a selection of technology, but it's also a selection of people, okay? Every one of us has some sort of tendency or love this or that language, but you think about it, when you're growing up, you need to recruit talents. And so you need to know people who know that language, who are very good at it. So where do I recruit them for? What is the expected salary for those? Is that language fully supported? For example, at Deel, we love JavaScript. So by definition, we use JavaScript both on the backend and on the front end, because by definition, if someone wants to move from backend to front end or vice versa, be my guest. Usually whatever is good for your team members is also good for you as a manager and as a leader. So this is why we really went with JavaScript, something that is easily to find great talent all over the world. You can easily move between domains like front and backend. And I see it every day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because then it gives them the freedom to, like before you were saying, people not even knowing it was an option, like employees not even knowing, if they get other offers to bring them and talk to you about them. Some people will get bored and they will leave, and not knowing it's an option to even join in an assignment on another team within the company to do something different. Yeah.
If you touch on that, another super important thing, when the company is fully remote, is like the culture for openness, the culture for transparency, okay? You are not meeting guys next to the coffee shop, right? Because they're different countries, okay? They must feel that they can talk with you about anything, and there is like zero politics. If something is bothering them, like, okay, I need to move, like, I want to move to another team. I want to switch from backend to frontend and so on. They feel that they can speak about it openly and so on. So this is a culture we fully encourage with Deel. I talk to people like all the time, not just, okay, what's the status of this and that, but how do you feel? How are we progressing? Do you feel that you all are progressing? Have you learned something new that month? Or like what we should be like improve and so on. And I think that's it's super important. And my fourth tip around that is as your team continues growing, you still must work with relatively very small commando-like teams. So even if you have like 100 people in engineering, you should have teams made of like 6 to 7 people at most that can, plan together and execute together and like delivering together. So go with microservices, which goes very nice with Kubernetes and all that stuff, okay? But try not having huge teams, because you will stuck on syncing and doing status meetings all day. I hate meetings, okay? So, and I think that are like, the really kill innovation. Usually we have an important meeting, we try to have like, one Notion page or like a wiki page about what is the what are we offering, what we want to discuss. And the meeting itself is, let's just decide, just discuss what is not good, what is to be changed, decide, and that's it. So try to have small teams that can deliver by themselves, can move fast, and you can have like dozens of those teams. That doesn't matter. It's much better than have like huge teams.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I was talking with this guy yesterday, actually, who they make DNA store. They store data inside of DNA, right?
Wow, amazing.
I know. And now they're making DNA-based computers, and it's just next level, unbelievable stuff. And he was saying, you could have some really large, he used to be the head of supercomputing at IBM. He said you could either have really large machines or and he compared them to horses. He goes, you can have 5 horses or you can have 1 billion mice because they're making these super tiny computers, but at this unbelievable scale. And I was like, wow, that's actually really, really interesting. But yeah, if you have a bunch of small teams that can produce results within your organization, it's like a decentralized approach, and it increases your level of stability by having these teams that can produce independently.
So it increases your stability, it increases your cadence, it also increases your quality, because you probably build your product in small chunks or microservices. So I can be able to deploy small stuff without affecting any other stuff. So everything is easier. The customer is happier because you ship much faster. The guys in the teams are happier because they see their stuff being used alive. It's a win-win-win situation.